Welcome to the Real Estate Marketing Podcast. My name is Jerome Lewis. I'm your host for today. The Real Estate Marketing Podcast is a podcast that has two purposes. The Real Estate Marketing Podcast is a podcast where we talk marketing, tech, business, and leadership. We talk these things for real estate agents, real estate investors, and real estate entrepreneurs. The Real Estate Marketing Podcast is a podcast that has two purposes. Purpose number one, to educate and inform our audience and listeners. Purpose number two, to spotlight you, your business, your service, or your product in a way that provides value to you, Brian, including market exposure and content creation. With that, we have a very special guest, Brian Carson. Brian Carson, the dedicated owner of Bash Web Consulting and a true testament to the power of resilience and lifelong learning. Brian's journey has been shaped by his unwavering passion for technology coupled with personal battles against, how do I say that, Brian? Polycystic Kidney Disease and a brain aneurysm.
You could say PKD. That's the abbreviation.
KD. Okay. These challenges have only fueled his determination to succeed both in his business and personal life. Against all odds, Brian built a thriving business, forging lasting relationships with his clients along the way. His expertise in SEO and email marketing has earned him professional certifications, establishing him as a trusted authority in his field. Brian's path to success took an extraordinary turn with a life-changing kidney transplant, bringing renewed health and clarity. Embracing the blessings life has to offer, he cherishes each moment, including the joy of becoming a parent to a newborn child. Now, Brian is ready to share his knowledge, inspire others, and provide reassurance that no question is too small on the journey to success. With a wealth of experience and profound commitment to help others, he is here to guide you every step of the way. Brian, welcome to the show. I'm excited that you're here.
Jerome, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I'm happy to
welcome,
be here.
Brian. Yeah, so I really love your story. When I first learned about it, or when you shared it in Ask Us, one of our communities, I was like, that's a great story. And I really appreciate that. You did a testimonial for me, and you talked about how you had a second chance at life. So we just read your professional or third chance. I can't remember, but you'll tell us. We just read your professional bio. Can you tell us a little bit about your story in your own words?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it hasn't been easy. I think over the last 10 years, so Bash Web Consulting has been open for 10 years. I went into business 10 years ago. My 10-year anniversary was actually the other day. So it was a big thing for me. 3 years into my venture, I was diagnosed with a brain aneurysm. So I had to get brain surgery. Got that done, recovered. And it was never really the same. I have a nice scar going down my head, as you can see. And right after that, about 3 years after that, I got diagnosed with, I had, polycystic kidney disease, PKD. So, in that 10 years, 2 life-changing surgeries, brain surgery and a kidney transplant. I got 1 year since last April. So it's been nothing but easy. But in the meantime, I've learned a lot. I keep moving forward, and, I just want to bring value, and I feel great. And that's all that matters really these days.
Yeah, I love and I appreciate your story. One of the things that I learned that you do, you publish a book, you publish Digital Domination. You got a copy of it with you?
Right here, right on my desk.
Excellent. And you can see mine in the back, right? I got a copy in the back. One of the things that you do specifically inside of your digital domination strategy is you talk about reputation management. So can you help us understand what that is and why it's important?
Yeah, well, listen, reputation management. I didn't start there, but now I'm there because I started with SEO, doing website design and all that kind of stuff. And I do SEO still, for the last 10 years. But one thing I did realize is me and my wife, we opened up a kids party business. So she runs that business, but I help her out on the back end doing the marketing for it. So one thing that I realized is dealing with the public isn't easy. I know you deal with a lot of real estate agents, Jerome. And the same thing goes, a lot of people are very fast to leave you a bad review, but not so much a good review. And that's something that I learned the hard way, because one day we woke up in the morning having our coffee, and we got an alert. And I'm like, Jess, who is this person that left us a bad review? And she's like, I don't know. She looked, and it was surprising because we never even knew that they had a bad time, but they're just fast to leave a review. And that's kind of where I kind of got into the reputation game. I was like, you know what? I have to start figuring out a way to take control over our reputation. So that's where it started. And reputation is one of the most biggest overlooked thing because it's 1/3 of the Google ranking factor right now. So if you're looking to be seen everywhere, that's also, besides getting good reviews, that's also a big factor these days, is getting ranked on Google as well.
Okay. So you mentioned like you mentioned SEO, and like we understand it like as tech people, but can you help us, like our audience, understand like what SEO is as well as like why it's important? And then like a little bit later, I want to talk about, you mentioned like the ranking. I want to know like what's important to ranking on Google.
Yeah, and I apologize. Sometimes it's easy with us talking technical, and we have to make sure we kind of like talk about it in simple terms. So SEO, everyone's heard of it, but they're like, oh well, what is it? Do we rank on Google? What is it exactly? SEO is how the best way to describe it in simple terms is making sure that your site is everywhere all the time, right? Someone looks for a certain service, looks for your brand, looks for you personally, you come up everywhere. So that's the easy way to really describe it. SEO goes into two different buckets, right? So you have on-page SEO and you have off-page SEO. On-page SEO is making sure your website's just not beautiful, right? Because everyone wants a good-looking website, but that's not the most important part, because if no one sees it, it doesn't matter how beautiful it looks, And that's one of the biggest things that I've had to deal with starting, is everyone's like, oh, I want my website to look like so-and-so's website. I'm like, all right, well, we can do that, but if no one's seeing it, it's no good. So on page is the most important part. So we have to make sure that your pictures are labeled the right way with the alt tags, right? With your keyword in the background. You have your H1 and your H2 tags, all your different headlines. The big headlines on the page has your keyword in mind, and everything's optimized for what you're doing, and it's not spammy at the same time. So it's a matter of putting the things in the right spot on your website so Google can read it. You have to understand that Google is a machine, right? So it comes to your website, it crawls it, and it reads it. So if you have nothing on your website that for it to read, it doesn't know what it's about. That's one of the biggest things that people miss. The off-page SEO part of it is, let's just say, you have you, Jerome, right? Say, not me. I know you're a good guy, and I'm giving you a testimonial. It's the same kind of concept as off-page SEO. You have another website on the web pointing to your website, saying how good and how strong you are as a website. So it's telling Google that you're building authority from other websites on the internet. So it's the same kind of concept as a testimonial. And that's kind of the two basic pillars of SEO. It's on page and off page, and you have to get them both right for you to rank.
Okay, I've been doing this for a while, and nobody ever told me off page was like that. Like I know what SEO is in a way, but the way you just explained it and talked about that testimonial, maybe because I care about testimonials so much, maybe it's what hit home. But that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you sharing it. But
yeah, absolutely. It's the best way to describe it. It's important because a lot of people miss it. It's not something, and with local business, it's not as crazy. Now, if you have a brand in particular, it could be a lot more competitive if you're trying to rank nationally. But if you're like a real estate agent, let's say in a local market, it's a little down. It's not as crazy to rank a website like that. But yeah, I mean, it's really important. And on top of that, reputation also kind of goes into the whole mix, because when someone finds you online, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to say, well, who is this person? Can I trust them to give them my money, or to trust me to do business with them? And that's where, having your online reputation in front of everybody all the time is so important.
Yeah. So like, I have a mentor, his name's Kevin. Kevin's always like, he started to help me see, like, in simple terms, he like, Jerome, like, you work in a high trust industry. So what other people say about what it is that you do is like so important, right? So us as real estate agents, real estate professionals, like, we're helping people like with the largest transaction of their life, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So the trust needs to be there. If I'm like brand new, or I'm like just new listening to this episode, like, what are some things I can do to start to build that trust and that reputation that, so essential to conducting business in our industry?
Well, before I even answer that question, Jerome, and it's a really good point, I'm going to give you a few statistics just to give you an idea how important it is. So 94% of consumers, report that a positive review makes them more likely to do business with you, right? So things like that, 89% of consumers, when referred to a business, still go to the internet to check that person out before they even give them the call. So these are the kinds of things that you have to think about. People are checking you out no matter what, right? So you have to make sure that you are everywhere all the time. What I mean by that is, if someone, say you do SEO and have a beautiful website on your website, right? And they come to your website, you never know what page they're going to land on, right? They may land on, a service page or an about us page or whatever the case may be, a contact us page. But if you have like Repmaster, a software that I developed, your 5-star reviews on every single page of your website, and they're live streaming in real time. So as reviews come in, it always shows your most updated and brand new reviews on every single page. So no matter where they're looking, they see how good and trustworthy the social proof is there. Now on social media, you never know. They might look on your social media accounts. Who is Jerome? Who is Jerome Lewis? So what we do also is we make sure that in your social media plan, we also post your reviews to your social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook. So no matter where they look for you, they're going to see that you're trustworthy and you have updated and you're on top of that, those reviews. That makes sense?
It does make sense. So I have no reviews. What can I do to start to build those reviews? What are some strategies or some things that I can do? Brand new, or I've been doing business for a while and I never really worried about my online reputation, and now I'm trying to get there. What would you recommend for it?
Well, there's a few things, right? So it depends what industry you're in. A lot of things, a lot of people. Let me start this again. What the best case scenario is? A lot of times people have a database of clients, right, that they haven't even asked for a review, right? Let's start there. That's the easiest win. So what Repmaster does, my software, Repmaster, is we take a CSV file of some of your old contacts and your old reviews, and we put them into Repmaster, and we have an automated campaign go out to ask them to leave your review, right? So you can put all your old contacts into a CSV, into our system, and it will send text messages and emails to them asking how we did, Now, the tricky part is you might get one or two people that, that didn't have a good experience or whatever the case may be. The beauty part with Repmaster is it takes those people and it sends them to a feedback page instead of going right to like Google or Facebook or whatever the case may be. So it kind of like separates that review out of the funnel, so you can handle that internally and find out what the problem was. And the good reviews, I always tell everybody to work on Google first, but if you have other like directory sites that you're working on, real estate agents have like Zillow and some other ones in particular, but Google is the most important one. So we work on that first, and then we can also work on additional review sites as well after that. That's the quick win. It's called like a database reactivation kind of thing. The new wins is every time you have a good experience with somebody, you're working with somebody, you send them that thank you email afterwards. How do we do for you? And that you put that person right into the system, and it sends out automatic emails and text messages to that person to find out how we did. So going forward, you're staying proactive with everything, and you're not letting it just fall by chance. Because like I said before, people that have a bad experience are more likely to leave you a review than the good ones. So it's important to stay proactive always. Now, if you have a restaurant or if you have some business like that, we can utilize QR codes. We can utilize NFT tags, things like that in different parts of the restaurant, on the menu, to leave a review and that kind of stuff. Or a loyalty program, something like that. You get somebody into a loyalty program, and then you can send out requests for reviews that way. But I always tell everybody, listen, if you have a client, talk to that person. Say, listen, I'm going to send you an email or a text. It means a lot to me to let people know how I am, how's my business. people are scared to ask that question, at the end of the transaction. It's important that you ask those questions, and you really go about it that way. Stay proactive with it going forward.
Yeah, one of the things that I learned, and I want to hear your perspective. One of the things that I learned is like what you're saying. Like after you have that great experience, you ask that person. Like I have a coach, and she always says, if someone says something positive about it, you ask them right there. I appreciate that. You know what would really help me? If you would leave me a testimony, or if you would leave me a review, or if you would talk about your experience. So can you talk about that a little bit? Like I'm trying to worry about is like the time, right? Like if it's a good experience and their emotions are high, get it then versus like later on where they won't remember all of the details and stuff.
Exactly.
Can you talk about that?
Exactly. So that's kind of that's a good point, Jerome, actually. So if that's your case, a lot of times what we do for clients is we give either program an NFT card that they can keep in their wallet, and they can just have the client scan it right on the moment, and it goes right to Google, the Google profile, or a QR code like on a card. They can scan the code right after the transaction's done or had a good experience. Boom, it goes right to your Google review page, and they can leave that review right there, then and there. And the beauty part, RepMaster, is once that review comes in, that gets live streamed right to your website automatically. So and to your social media profiles right away. So once that comes in, all your newest and fresh ones are automatically going to your social media and every page of your website as well. So it's a way to always have new, fresh leads coming in. I know from experience. So like I went to a few sites of people that I was looking to do business with, and I looked, and their latest review was from like 2 years ago. And I'm like, all right, well, 2 years ago, that person might not even be working for that company anymore, or, whatever the case may be. So it's always important to have fresh and new ones. People look, oh, when's the latest review? Oh, it happened 3 years ago, or it happened yesterday, so it's important to stay up to date and fresh with those. So that's a good point you made.
You have like a really good system. I want to can you talk more about that? Like how you get it, like how you get those reviews to like client websites. And I just love how you stay on top of the reviews. And if I'm being honest, that's like one of the things that I'm like struggling with, like getting those reviews fresh and up to date, like constantly and all of the time. So I want to talk more about it. I want to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing. I mean, a lot of people get the review part half right. You go to their homepage and they have reviews on their homepage, right? Let's say, but there's two ways. Either they have reviews on there that the web designer put them on there, and there can be from, again, 3 or 4 years ago, and they're old, stale. And every time you go to that page, it's the same reviews, same 3 reviews on the page every single time. Or, with RepMaster, you can put it on every single page of your website. So anytime a new one comes in, your freshest and newest reviews are also live streamed right to your website. So those 3 reviews, they might go to your website one time. The next time they go back to your website, there's 3 more different reviews on there. So there's always new, fresh stuff. It gets live streamed right to your website. I call it like review pop. It's almost like a review pop-up, but it's a live stream as well that gets right to your website. And like I said earlier, you never know what site they're going to be coming to, what page on the website they're going to come to. So it's important that you have it on every page, not just one. And that's what people miss. People just put it on their homepage, but what if they come to your service page, and they want to read up on a certain service or whatever the case may be? They don't have it on that page. And people's attention isn't that necessarily, long. They want to get their information and move. So they're not going to go back to your homepage and go to this page and that page. They want to get it at that page. They want to read up on it, see how good you are, and then they're going to call you from that point. And that's the goal,
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm going to that's interesting because I had like a mentor, and he was telling me, he was like, Jerome, your reviews are all the way down your page. And here I am. I know and I understand the importance of what other people are saying, but I have it all the way at the bottom. And that's why it helps to work with other professionals, because they give you a different perspective. He's like, you got to move that stuff up. Right. And in my perspective, in my business, like you say, I go after my testimonials. Right. Because I don't want people to believe I want people to believe what I'm saying, but they most likely won't. They want to see what other people are saying. That's why reviews are so important. And that's why I like that. That's probably the most important thing to my business, social proof, right? I'm always getting what are other people saying with their honest feedback and their honest testimonials. And I like both. I like the positive and the negative, because the negative lets me know how I can improve. What are people saying? Can I improve there or not? Like maybe this just comes with my business because nothing is perfect, but I always like to get that feedback from the audience so I can see if there is a way for me to. All right. If you could,
But
I have a
you made you
question
made a
for you.
you made a good point right there, John. I mean to cut you off. You
Yeah, no, go ahead.
the negative reviews that you said that mean a lot to you, right? You know, Repmaster kind of like weeds them out, but there's still going to be bad ones that come through regardless, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's always going to be those people that leave a bad review. The people that want to do business with you, believe it or not, they're reading your response to those reviews.
Mhm.
So not only is it important to stay proactive by getting new reviews, it's important that you stay proactive responding to those people that had a bad experience, because they want to see your customer service skills. They want to see, you know,
Yes.
if you're going to be that kind of person that's going to attack that person, or if
Mhm.
you're going to be that kind of person that's going to be open-minded and want to hear and take that feedback and really, you know, handle it in a good way, you know, and that, you know, give me a call personally. I'll be more than happy to help you, whatever the case may be. But it's important to handle it in a real good way. People read that stuff, so it's important.
Absolutely. And like since childhood, me like in general, when a relationship started off where people were like disagreeing and then I fixed it, it was much better than something that started off positive and is like all sunshine and rainbows. Like they
Exactly.
become the best customers, the best clients. Like when something went wrong and then you go fix it and you make adjustments and help that person, they become like the best relationships and they become the best advocates in my experience.
Hmm. You're right, and you know what? To be honest with you, they might even take the review down
Yeah.
if you handle it
Yep.
the right way. You know, I mean, if you
Yes.
want to talk about being proactive with it, if you handle it right and you do right by them, they might take it down for you. You know, and don't ask them for it, but they might just do it. You know, he's a good guy. He made a mistake, or, you know, what I learned now. Again, it might not be the same maybe in the real estate office, is that you're responsible for yourself. But what if somebody answers the phone in your office or at your business that is having a bad day? You know, and
Mhm.
they have a bad tone in their voice, or they answer the phone the wrong way, and that person takes it the wrong way. It might not be because of you, it might be because of somebody else that you got
Yep.
in the bad review for. So it's important to you know, make sure that you answer those questions or have that conversation with that person that had the bad experience.
It has. You make a good point. So, because like the way real estate works is we're typically under a brokerage, and sometimes a customer or client will refer to like one experience and they'll say that they'll lump it all together
Mhm.
and they're incorrect. And depending on how you handle it, that customer, that client, they will adjust. I just recently, there was a woman and a client went to visit her office. And like I work for EXP, like we don't have like a lot of physical office. We do like a lot of virtual stuff. And this client was irate and complaining. And she said, this what I don't know what you were looking for, and this wasn't our building, but can you like adjust this review or take it down? And they didn't take it down, but you can see me reading those comments was like, okay, this is a real person. That person's not perfect. And you know, it helped me understand the importance of being proactive and being on top of those reviews. Had it gone unaddressed, that would have given me a different perspective.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right. What is the most important lesson you've learned about like reputation management? And what would you say to the audience?
Well, the most important thing that I always tell everybody, you know, a good defense reputation is a good offense. So staying proactive and asking for reviews, was again, you're going to have that bad review come in, and it might take. So say you had a 4.8 out of 5 stars on Google, right? And you get that one bad review, and it takes it down to say 4.5 or something, you know, and you want to get it back up a little bit. It might take 10 to 15 to get it back up to that level. You know what I mean? So it's important that you stay proactive with every situation. That's the most important thing that I always say. The second thing is, don't be scared to ask for it. Like you said to Rome earlier, you know, you having a good experience with somebody, and tell them it'll mean a lot to me if you ask them, you know, to leave a review for you right that moment, or if I'm going to reach out to you later on today and send you a text message, if you can leave me a review. However you want to do it, you can handle both ways that way. And the third is not to get defensive with, like we talked about before, with the bad reviews, because they're going to happen. You know, they're going to happen regardless, and you have to be proactive with it and handle it and take it as feedback and improve your business. You know, improve your service with what they're saying. Which, you know what, they might be right. You know,
Yeah.
with what they're saying. You know, believe it or not, and you sometimes your pride takes over, and you say, "Oh no, it's not the case." But you can't answer it that way. You really have to take it, you know, and be good with it.
Absolutely. There is so for me, like the reviews that I get, the most common thing and they're right. right? The most common, like maybe negative thing that I get is that he talks so fast, he moves so fast. And if it's several people saying that same thing, that means there's something there, right? It's not
Mhm.
just one person that's being irate, or and I have to make that adjustment to my business
Mhm.
to that feedback. So that's
Mhm.
so.
No, it's important. It really is.
So there was a stat that I don't know what to call it, but I want to hear your perspective on this point. People are more likely to trust a 4 point something versus a 5.0, a perfect rating. What do you say about that?
I mean, they got a good point. I mean, sometimes people are like, "Well, it could be all fake reviews or whatever the case may be," right? So totally get that. The one thing I say about that is with Repmaster, when we're displaying like your reviews on every single page of your site. Um, so no matter what, say they're scrolling up and down their website, like that
Mhm.
that review was your reviews are always showing up. So you're going to see pictures of people that are leaving real reviews. It's not like just some fake
Right.
um, person. You know what I mean? So if you're going to have all 5-star reviews on your website, and you're doing a great job, number one, because those one or two always come in. I feel like no matter what, you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
So, but if you do have a 5-star review, make sure you make it as real as possible. Show real
Mhm.
pictures of people that are leaving those reviews, or in some cases maybe a video. Those as well. Um, it's really a thin line about what to do with that. But listen, if you have a good business and it's all 5 stars, what are you going to do? Tell someone to leave you a bad review just to make it that
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a hard situation to say because you're trying to do the best you can, and if no one's really hating on you and leaving you a bad review, you're not going to ask somebody for it. But you know, people do say that they believe like a 4.8 or a 4.9, and most of the time, you're gonna find those people that fall through the cracks, that had a bad
Right.
day, and they're gonna leave you a bad review. So it's really, if you're gonna have a 5-star review, make sure everything is updated and new and real, not just like old pictures, old stuff. Make it updated and feel real and new, and show that social proof off that everything is just show it off proudly, man. Because your 5-star review is like the way to go if you can do it. You know, I can't do it. I don't have a 5-star review. There's always that one person that falls through the cracks somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And my perspective is like, if you're starting off early, or this review process is early for you and you get a bunch of fives, it's okay. Like it takes time. And when you eventually get there, it's going to drop a little bit. So I think that,
Yeah.
that context helps. Brian, how can someone add immediate value to you or your business?
Um, Explain that. What you mean by that exactly?
Yeah. So my sample, right? If somebody's like, Jerome, how could somebody ask me that same question? It's my show, right? So it's easy. Somebody asked me that same question, I would say, go purchase a copy of my book. Like that's how you can add immediate value to me. Go purchase a copy of my book, go purchase a course, become a guest on a podcast, and that gives me like instant value. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, now I get
Okay.
what you're saying. So I guess the best way to go about it is you can reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy, since I'm so proud of Repmaster and where it's becoming and what it's doing. I'd be more than happy to get you set up and get you a 7-day trial to get going on it, free trial, and see how powerful it is and get some reviews going for you. And then obviously for Jerome's listeners, I'll give you a nice special deal on that. The second thing is get a copy of the book, because if you want to do it yourself and you don't have the budget to get anything new, get a copy of Digital Domination. Everything is in the book pretty much, step by step. And then if you have any questions, of course my email is on every page of the book, you know so you can reach out to me personally. I'd be more than happy to reach back out to you and help you out any way I can. But if you would like a free trial, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about that and get you going. Try it out for 7 days, and then go from there. But if not, get a copy of the book and you can do it yourself, and it teaches everything you got to know to do it.
Tell us where we can get a copy of the book.
Yeah, you can actually the best way for probably is Amazon. Go to Amazon and search Digital Domination, or my name, Brian Carson. It's right on here, and Jerome can help you out with that, or you can reach out to me too. I'll give you my information.
All right. And the next question is very similar. How can someone add long-term value to you or your business?
Long-term value.
Mhm.
If you have if you work with me and you have a good experience with me, give me a referral. You know,
Girl. Okay.
that's the name of the game, right? Referrals and reviews.
So I use this section to figure out how I can, because sometimes people want to like pick a brain like for free. Some people like it, some people don't. But I use this to figure out how can I serve my guests, right? So you said like purchase a book. I got me a copy. I purchased. I'm one of the first. I was one of the first to purchase. But one of the things I would like to do for you, I'll be happy to leave you a review too. So I'm going to write you a review. That's my way of adding value to you. And anybody that comes through and that needs like that to understand the importance of reputation management, more than happy to refer them to you. And then, like another thing that I was thinking about before we even got to this section was having you like teach some kind of class or do some kind of master class for like my agents so they can understand how the importance of having a
Yeah,
reputation and using that to implement into their business.
I'd be totally open to that. That's a great idea.
Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. So we're in real estate. Inside of real estate, we have what's called the closing table. So the closing table means we're going to wrap things up. So closing table questions I have for you are the first one. What are 3 books that you recommend to the audience and why?
I know you love your books, Jerome, so I'm going to give
I
you
love
3
it.
ones that I love, right? I like,
Yeah.
and this is one I read actually pretty recently. Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. I don't
Okay.
know if you read that one.
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's amazing. It's really a good. I read a lot of business books, but that was one that just kind of it opened my eyes to like the peace. You have to
Okay.
have each day with yourself. The second one would be The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort.
Okay.
I just love the book because in business, what's more important than sales, right? And he is one of the masters of sales. And the third one is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Negotiation, right? Sales negotiation, especially in real estate. 2 awesome books, and then the peace and the like meditation, the quietness of Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. So they all kind of like fit together. And I love them. These are all books that I read over the last year. I think I read about, I think up to 10 books so far this year. I try to read, at least 10 pages a day, every day.
Okay.
So it's important.
I admire that. And I want to ask you for one more book. I want you to tell us about Digital Domination, why we should read that.
Digital Domination. If you want a step-by-step guide to learn more about reputation management and how important it is for your branding, your local brand, especially in real estate, your local branding, you have to be the person in your local area that people are going to call and trust. It's important to build that up. Also to build the local SEO. So when people are searching for, a real estate agent in so-and-so town or a city or whatever the case may be, that you come up. One thing that I actually did notice, I have my real estate license since I was 18 years old. So I've had it my whole life as well. I don't know if you knew that, Jerome, but I've had it my whole life. I worked during college as a real estate agent, for a while, and then I kind of keep it now to do family deals. But it's so important to set up like a Google business page because everyone's independent contractor, right? A lot of times, people are just setting them up for like the main brokerage, like ERA or Century 21 or whatever the case may be, but they're not really setting it up for their personal brand, right? So, Jerome Lewis, real estate agent, Jerome Lewis, whatever, or Brian Carson in their local area. And then that way, as you get new reviews, Google knows you're a real estate agent, right? So they might start ranking you higher and higher. So when someone's searching for a real estate agent in your area, you might come up in the three pack, the map pack over there. So it's important that you look, into that and really get that set up. So those are the things that you learn in the book, and also, a lot of other stuff. But those are the 2 most important things.
Thank you for sharing that. Because I was wondering about that. We were talking about reviews, and it's like sometimes people are like, "Where do I do this?" But I didn't want to get too complicated. Yeah, setting up your Google, and if you want to learn more about that, get Brian's book, Digital Domination.
And like I said, in my email's in the book. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction.
All right. Brian, what is one question you wish I had asked you, and how would you have answered?
One question that I wish that you asked. I think my morning routine.
Okay.
I think the more that's listen. I've missed it so many times, and I like going through the years. Like I haven't felt good with my sicknesses and stuff, but I'm right now. I'm like firing at all cylinders. So my kidneys, for example, when they weren't working properly, I had brain fog. Right. So
Okay.
after my transplant, I don't have any brain fog anymore. Right. So now what I do is best time for me is between 4:30 in the morning and 8 o'clock in the morning. Right. So those are my times that I love. Right. So I get up early before the sun gets up. Um, Go get a big glass of water first thing in the morning. Get a big glass of water down, and my dog by that time is waiting by the door, ready to go. Right. So out the door for a nice long walk first thing in the morning. Get back, have another big glass of water. Right. Having a cup of coffee, right? Just start thinking about my day. And then right into the shower. And after my shower, what I do is I turn the water cold as can be at the end. I sit in there and I try to do a little longer every single day. And then that's kind of how I start my day. Just I feel refreshed. I get some extra push-ups, that kind of stuff in. It's just so important to start your day off good, And the other important part that is to plan your day the night before. I always make sure that I plan my night the day before, so when I get up in the morning, I know what I'm attacking first and what I'm doing. And I think those are the most important things for me. Is if you start the day off good, the rest of the day actually goes really well. Also, one other thing, Jerome, if it's okay.
Yes.
One thing that I really find that's very powerful to me is, are you familiar with Ed Milet's Mini Days?
No.
Okay. So I follow Ed Milet's Mini Days, and what it is I split my day into 3 mini days, right? So my first mini day is from 6 to 12 p.m., right? So I get up early, I get my walk, my exercise in, my shower, everything else, meditate or breathe. And then at 6, I start my work. So from 6 to 12, I have a day, right? Now it's might not be a complete work day. Like I might not work for the whole 6 hours. I have my daughter at 7. She gets up at 7, so I get her for a while till my wife gets up. But then I continue my day to 12. Then my second day starts at 12 noon to 6 p.m. Right? So it might not be a complete work day. I might take my daughter to the park at 1 o'clock, 1 to 2. But I know that I have my third day, which is at 6 to 12 midnight. So I split my days into 3 days. It's not all work, but I know that I can plan my day a little bit better. It's more effective for me. So everyone has one day, and I feel like I have 3 days every single day. So I kind of break it up like that. It really, if you look it up on YouTube, if you're not familiar with it, and Milet explains it better than I am, but it really gives me a really good outlook for the day, and it gets me going. All that combined, So that's my advice. That's what I do, and that's what I'm working on every day.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm like a little jealous, and I'm going to look it up after the show because I'm always trying to figure out like what's a way where I can get like ahead and get more time or do more. So I appreciate that. I'm going to look it up right after the show.
Well, one thing Ed says is, I might wake up in the morning, I might feel sick, right? So he's like, I might sleep a little late one day. So my first day, I might get up at 8, right? But on a Saturday, I might wake up and I'm hanging out with my daughter, having a family day from the beginning, go to breakfast. But you know what? My day might start at 12 to 6, and I might work from 12 to 6 that day. And that's my second day. My first day was my family day. My second day of the day is my work day. So it's kind of like it's a mental like shift of how your day goes. So it's important.
I like that. How can we learn more about you online?
That's a great question. So let me pull up. I have everything. My Instagram and Facebook are probably the best ways to do it. And I'll give you my Instagram. It's Brian, Brian, and _, C is my middle initial, and underscore Carson, Carson. So Brian C. Carson with two underscores. And Facebook, it's you can look me up. Brian Carson Marketing is my Facebook at the end.
So I got this from one of my prior guests. She always asks the guest to close it out with one word, not a sentence, no explanation. If you could close us out with one word, what word would that be?
Grateful.
Grateful.
I'm grateful for every day, Jerome. I love every day, man.
I really admire it and appreciate that about you. Like before we jumped on, you were like, every day is a good day. Most people that are around, oh my God, this happened, that happened, this, that. And it's like, you should be grateful for the things that you have. Things could always be worse, but they could always be better. Like just be grateful for what you have.
Yep, every day is a good day.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate you. So I'm going to close us down and I want to talk to you a little bit after. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jerome. I appreciate it.
All right.